Confronted by his wife at work. Today has been the worst day of my life and I'm desperate for someone who's not gonna judge me and make me feel even worse. MM's wife confronted me at our job like so unprofessional. She found out about us 2 weeks ago but didn't know who I was. She finally figured it out somehow and came to talk at work. I tried to avoid her and said this is not the time, and she says, it shouldn't have been the time for you to fuck my husband. And she just got more upset and called me everything you can think of in front of everyone. We work in a hospital so obviously there were people around. She didn't yell, but everyone could still hear her. MM was there and was trying to keep things calm but he ended up following her out and they had a blow up in the parking lot. I asked to leave early and have been sitting in my car just crying. MM did reach out and say that he's sorry and he will come over later to talk. And he wasn't able to leave work so he's still up there. I have no idea what's going to happen. We all work in the same hospital, but luckily, 3 different positions with 3 different bosses. It's terrifying for me and I don't want to bump into her or see her at all and I can't quit my job. I'm so embarrassed and just downright humiliated. Everyone was staring and I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna be able to go back to work tomorrow. I have no idea what to do. Should I go to her HR? Or mine? Just leave it alone. I honestly don't know what the fuck to do and I'm terrified of all this. How can I face all these people? Update 1. So MM and I have both been asked to resign. I went to the meeting the next day and at first they asked me to tell them what happened so I did. Then all the questions changed to the affair and they started asking if it started at work and if we ever met up at work and things like that, so I already kinda knew where it was heading. MM told me that his wife said she was going to give them all the information that we had about the affair, the messages and stuff that she took pictures of. Today when I got in, they called me back into the office and they had 3 people in there so I knew I was getting fired. They had the policy that I signed out on the desk and said that basically my conduct is inappropriate and that they do not encourage workplace courtships and I am basically being asked to put in my resignation because it is against the policy not to let them know about dating a coworker. So basically if I resign then I can leave to find a job and they can be a limited reference. If I don't resign, then they fire me outright either way. I am honestly relieved to be gone. Working the day after was hard and I could tell people were gossiping about us and the situation. I wouldn't have had the strength to leave on my own so I am okay with it honestly. I already started applying for another job. MM is confusing me though. His wife has served him divorce papers and he had a breakdown last night. He says that he didn't think she would leave him without trying to work on things first, that he is surprised she wants to throw it all away like that so quickly. His kids do not want to talk to him right now and his family is in an uproar. We had a fight too because why are you telling me this? Like how do you think it makes me feel that you're crying to me about your wife leaving you? Before the fight I asked him if we will continue to see each other and he says yes. So why do you want her to forgive you if you don't want to end things with me? Like, she's not going to let him have both. And he didn't have anything to say. Update 2. I got a new job. I'm the one who lost her job a few weeks ago. Just signed all my new hire paperwork and I start on Thursday. I am thankful to be a nurse in these times, honestly. The demand in my area is high. MM is landing interviews as well so we hope he finds something soon. Things have gotten a lot better for us and he has said he would like to go to therapy. His 14-year-old reached out to him yesterday to ask to hang out and he was over the moon. Still no luck with the 17-year-old though. I don't expect to be able to meet either of his kids anytime soon, but I understand that it may take time. He was staying at his brother's house when everything blew up and his brother and Sil came by to drop off some fishing gear and it was awkward as hell. His brother said hello to me, but sister-in-law stared daggers at me and wouldn't even greet me. Not complaining because like I said, I understand. They were all really close with his W and know all about what's going on. Their family takes a big vacation every summer and it is next month. They are all going to Aruba for 9 days. His mother has made it clear that I am not welcomed and according to her, you're lucky your ass is even invited. His W will be there with their children. He wants to go really bad though. He hasn't said anything, but I know he does. He is very close with his family and this has been very hard on him. As they were still together when this was planned, they were in a room together. Wife has swapped to be in a room with one of his sisters and he will be in a room with the kids. I just hope that this doesn't undo any of the progress that we have made. Would you be worried? What is the possibility of him trying to reconcile? Of her being open to it? What if they sleep together? My mind is racing and I am overthinking. I've brought this up to him and he says it won't happen. He still tells me he loves me and is excited for what is to come for us, regardless of what he's going through. I just don't know what to think about it all. Update 3. So and I had D-Day a few months ago and his wife left him and filed for divorce. They had their annual family trip planned to the Caribbean long before D-Day and it is pretty much their whole family including the wife. But instead of the wife and kids staying in the suite with him, he will stay with his kids while his wife is staying in another suite. They will be gone for almost 2 weeks and I'm honestly nervous. I feel like his wife really doesn't like him, but if she were to even hint at it, he would leave sleep with her in a heartbeat while on this trip. I went through his phone because I felt like he was not being honest to not want to reconcile and I was right. Here are some of the texts, I'm gonna skip through some to get to the point. You had me served. You don't even think this warrants a conversation. W. The time for any conversation should have happened before you did what you did. I love you and I messed up. I know I did and I just want to talk. Can you please just pick up the phone? Please. I'm going to come over. W. Don't. My mind is made up and I'm not entertaining this anymore. Get a lawyer and leave me the fuck alone. He then sends her 4 messages throughout the day saying he loves her and he wants to work on the relationship, but she doesn't respond to any of them. Then the next day she says, W. You know what bothers me? There is nothing I wouldn't have done to save our marriage if I knew that something was wrong. I'm sitting here racking my fucking brain trying to figure out where we went wrong, and you've never once pointed out anything that you felt was wrong with us, or me rather. The why doesn't matter anymore though. When I read those messages, my heart broke in a way that I can never express and no pain I've ever endured hurts more than this. I swear on everything I hope you love this woman and can be happy with her so that all of this is worth it to you. Can I come over and talk? Please. W. No. I'm so sorry for all of this baby. I should have talked to you more. I know I fucked up. I don't want this divorce. Please. Can I call you? I'll do anything. Please just have a conversation with me. W. You're not sorry. You lied and told me this was only a couple months, but that isn't true, and you know that shit. You've been sleeping with her since last year. You took her to Atlanta. You went to see her on my birthday. You're disgusting and fuck you and fuck her. You're still lying and that's enough for me to know that you're not sorry at all. He then sends her a few more messages and she never responds. I searched for her name in his messages and he has spoken to his family about her. In the chats to his brother he says he wishes he could do things over again, that everything would be different. This was all back in May, June, and he hasn't mentioned to any family or friends about wanting to reconcile and he has stopped reaching out to his wife entirely. When I brought it up to him he apologized and said he was shocked about the whole divorce and was trying to do damage control, but he doesn't feel that way anymore. Recently he learned that his wife knew about the affair the whole time and in January she transferred 3 properties she got from her grandparents into her father's name. He found that out when the lawyers were looking into her assets. She made more than him, so no alimony, and she is not asking child support. Just to sell the house they are living in and move on. He is angry because of the property that was signed over to her father since he feels they should be split. This stuff has been so stressful. I just want it to be done and final so we can move on. Final update. The last time I made a post and I had moved in together and he was preparing for a family trip to the Caribbean. He ended up not going because he got hired at a hospital and had to take care of a lot of onboarding things for that. I took a lot of the comments on my previous post to heart and after a few weeks, I told him I would be moving out into a place of my own for a 1-year lease and try to work on myself and give him the space he needed to work through his divorce. He was not happy about it at all, and we ended up having a very deep conversation where he said what another guy commented on a previous post, which was that he was acting in desperation and it wasn't necessarily that he was losing her, but he was also losing his children and a lot of his family members who were all outwardly pissed with him as well. He admitted that at the time he did love her and that he should have expressed his unhappiness with her and their issues before engaging in an affair with me. I still moved out and have been in my place since the beginning of October. We are still seeing each other and it has been great. His divorce is due to be finalized in March and his wife has agreed to pay him an amount they're still working out for one of the properties that he was able to prove he paid into. His youngest has been speaking to him more, but things are still rough with his older child. The holidays were as good as could be expected. We had dinner with his two sisters and the one brother I met previously. They were polite and it didn't feel awkward or tense and we have hung out a couple of times since then. Christmas was good, too. His STBXW was there, but nothing crazy happened and they were cordial per his sister. I spent it with my family and him with his, but we spent the night together and exchanged gifts. His little sister has been good to me throughout all of this and she says that she's not one to judge and she just wants to keep the peace. She told me that the whole family is just really shocked at the way everything has happened and they all really love his STBXW who happens to have a small family so she will likely be at most future gatherings, so that's something I'll have to grow to be okay with. She also said that has opened up to her about me and how much he loves me and she believes he just ended up being in love with two women and didn't know what to do. According to her, his STBXW is also newly seeing someone so she seems to be doing well, too. So that's pretty much it. I know y'all didn't want to hear that we're still together, but we are and we're still taking it pretty slow. No plans for marriage or any of that just yet, and we'll be living separately until at least October. It does feel great being legit. We get to be out in public, and travel together, not worrying about all the little things we had to pay attention to while in the affair.